With the average house price selling for over £25,000 compared to just last year, why is it house prices are increasing on an ongoing basis? That's exactly what I'm going to be covering in today's video. There's two ways of analysing the data out there. Number one is Rightmove and the other one is the ONS. The real difference is Rightmove is basing all of their data on asking prices, still good to know but not very accurate, and then the ONS, Office of National Statistics, is based on actual sold prices. So why am I doing this video now? Well, the reason now is the best time to be doing this is the first time since 2007 where every single region of the UK has gone up in price. This doesn't actually seem logical in the grand scheme of things. We've had lockdown for a better part of 2 years now. The world is down the pan because of COVID and everything else going on, from B bills and C bills coming to an end. You've got the stamp duty coming to an end, furlough scheme coming to an end, unemployment on the rise, and an unpredictable nature for the economy. So why is it we're building so fast on such shaky foundations? Well, actually, there's some macroeconomics that come into play here that actually have a huge impact on what we're looking at right now. Number one, interest rates. Interest rates are at an all-time low and have been at this all-time low for about 5 years now. And whilst it's naturally going to increase over time, when there's cheap interest rates, cheap money lends to over exuberant prices going out there. So naturally, because it's next to free to get money, we're able to spend more, which likely increases the prices over time. Next, and kind of strangely, there's really strong employment and increases in wages going on right now. Now, will this be sustained? I don't know, because furloughs just come to an end. It might have a knock-on or systemic or domino effect. But at the moment, due to the strong nature of employment going on and the flexibility within that, again, that is contributing to a stronger foundation and an increase in demand for property. The next one's one of the biggest available, and this is supply versus demand. So a lot of people seem to focus on the demand aspect, the interest rates, how much money you've got, people's wages, and it makes sense because it's the biggest lever that can be moved, right? Because providing more supply is actually quite difficult. But it is something to recognize as the foundations of the UK in particular is we're on this tiny island, a lot of the land we can't build on, and there's a massive housing shortage due to planning issues, greenbelt, etc. What this means is by the end of 2022, we're going to have a 1 million unit housing shortage. Well, how does this impact things? Well, naturally in economics, where there's a shortage of supply and more demand, i.e. more people bidding on each property, naturally the price is going to go up because people want what they can't have. Due to a recent report by PropertyMark, they found that there were 19 buyers for every one property on the market. It doesn't take a genius to see where that's going to send property prices. The final thing to consider is the speed of the marketplace. So whilst this doesn't directly correlate to prices, it does create an emotional frenzy. So just so you know, around 2 years ago, where we maybe had a bit more of a normal market, a realistically priced property on the open market would take around 70 days to get an agreed price and go into legals. Nowadays, if you look at an average as of November 2021, we're looking at an average time of just 35 days to get a property deal agreed. Now, why is that important? Well, if we're creating that speed frenzy where you have to literally be twice as fast to get a property as 2 years ago, that naturally creates emotions getting involved, which is never really good when you're making a big purchasing decision. Now you'd think, well, people are buying a property, they're still going to be objective, they'll still run the numbers, they'll still look at affordability. Bullshit. That's not how we work as humans. We want what we can't have, we get energetic around things that are taken away from us, and if you think simply about the analogy of a toddler or a baby in a pram, they've got their toys next to them, and as soon as you take one out of their pram, what do? They start whining as if it's their favorite toy in the world until you give it back to them. Well, that's how we act. And this isn't just for the buy-to-let market, by the way. I've seen in Leeds, in Millionaires Row, a £2 million property go before anyone's officially viewed the property because somebody bought it in cash without actually viewing, based on a 360 tour. How insane is that? It's a real good sign of the times. So whilst this doesn't directly correlate to an increase in prices, it does correlate to an increase in competition. And naturally, when there's speed involved and you get more agents doing closed bids and things like that, you will start bidding higher and higher because you become what's known as a motivated buyer. So the real question is now a good time to buy? A resounding yes. I've said this 100 times on the channel, I'll say 100 times more. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And what you're able to pay and your fundamentals for your investment shouldn't really change as the market changes. Now, when you're looking at these investments, you have your criteria in place. And as I just said, don't become a motivated buyer. Don't become emotional about this. And what you need to put in place is a bit more patience. The same as, obviously, I've got a deal packaging business where I facilitate and find investments for people. And I'm telling our customers and our clients just to be a little bit more patient, because you don't want to rush to get the wrong property. The reality of this is, will there be a correction? Sure, at some point. Do I think that correction is going to be a 20% drop in the market? No, I don't, simply because of market fundamentals. But just to give you an idea, the prices of property have been measured since 1086, which is from the Doomsday Book, where you could buy the entirety of the UK's land for around £70,000. Fast forward to today, the average property price is over £270,000. Now, naturally, there's inflation in that, but in general, property prices will double roughly every 10 years. As I say, the past doesn't guarantee the future, but 1,000 years is a fair indication. Now, there will be ebbs and flows, slumps, dumps, highs and lows as you're going through this, but in general, as long as you're holding the asset over the long term, you're going to be okay. This is from the bust all the way to the boom over an 18-year property cycle, and if you believe and buy into this, we're at around year 11 to year 12 right now of that 18-year cycle. What this means is we should have fairly aggressive growth for the next 4 to 6 years before we should consider consolidating, getting our war chest together and being ready to buy again once the next correction comes into play. But hey, this is just one person's opinion. What I'm really interested in is yours. Ultimately, this channel is about you and adding as much value as possible. So 1, why do you think property prices are increasing so much? And 2, are you still buying or are you waiting? Let me know in the comments by either saying buy or wait to give me an indication. I'll try to reply to as many comments as possible. And if you got value from this video, make sure to destroy the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.